From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It's Monday, November 16th, and right now on Good Morning Indiana.
Downtown is one of the best downtowns in the country. I know you're going to get through this. We're going to get through this together.
Another round of COVID restrictions take effect today. This morning, we talked to some Marion County businesses about their plan to survive.
We showed that at 3 days, patients with Expo block took on average about 9 less painkillers.
New hope in the fight against the opioid crisis. Working for you, details on a new drug doctors say could end opioid dependence before it even begins. The Indianapolis Fire Department is mourning the loss of one of their own. How his life and legacy will be honored today.
And at 6:01, we want to thank you for joining our team on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey with Todd Clausen. Raphael has a much-deserved day off today, so it's just me and you today, Todd. What can people expect as they head out the door on the roads?
You know, it's a pretty seasonable day for us here across the area, Lauren. The question most people are probably asking, how is the wind going to be? Yesterday, obviously, a very, very windy day. The winds are pretty calm here this morning, so it's a big difference, but the wind will pick up a little bit as the day goes on. Temperatures right now are sitting at freezing in Indianapolis, so we're down to 32 degrees, 31 in Peru, so you're below freezing. We're at 32 in Bloomington. Wind chill values in the 20s this morning in many locations, but with the clear skies and then this cool, crisp air, a beautiful view of the city skyline from IMS looking back off towards the east. And as far as any cloud cover goes, there's a few clouds up near Fort Wayne, and that is just about it as far as the cloud cover goes today. And back off to our west, with the exception of those snow showers in Minneapolis, which will miss us. There's not a whole lot going on. So today is going to be a sunny day for us, and we're going to continue with the sunshine throughout much of this week. Now, today we'll be in the 30s through about 9 a.m. We'll be in the 40s through about 1 p.m. Expecting our high today, Lauren, to top off right around 51, 52 degrees, and that should be right around 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic. Things are pretty quiet and traveling up to speed here north of downtown. This is I-65 and 30th Street. You can see traffic is traveling smoothly. Just a construction reminder as you're traveling north of downtown Indy. We still have the ramp closed from MLK to northbound I-65. That's set to reopen after a long-term construction project this Friday around the dinner hour. Of course, we'll keep you updated. It is 6:02 this morning. Indiana has surpassed 250,000 coronavirus cases. This after setting a record one-day report with 8,315 cases on Saturday. Sunday's total was down by nearly 1,500 cases to just over 6,800. It's still the second highest total recorded. The 7-day positivity rate on all tests is standing at 11.3%. Health officials also report 22 additional COVID-related deaths. Since March, 4,660 Hoosiers have died with COVID-19. As of this morning, more than 2,600 people are in the hospital in our state with COVID-19 or are suspected of having COVID-19. Also this morning, 25.5% of ICU beds remain available. Just over 73% of ventilators remain available across the state. The spike in coronavirus cases across our state has prompted schools, many of them, to move to e-learning. Here in Marion County, all schools must switch to a completely virtual model by November 30th. So here's a look at when some of those changes will start. Beginning today, Wayne Township will transition all students to virtual learning once again. Beech Grove Middle School will also begin virtual learning today. Kindergarten through 6th grade students at Beech Grove will go virtual Wednesday. Washington Township students will be back at home on Tuesday. Several districts will begin virtual learning November 23rd, including IPS. Meanwhile, Perry Township and Speedway are waiting until November 30th. We have a full list of each district's plans in the coronavirus section of our website. Just go to WRTV.com. New COVID-19 restrictions aiming to stop the spread are back in place here in Marion County today. So here's a look at some of the newer changes. Bars and entertainment venues are capped at 25% indoor capacity. Restaurants at 50%. Religious centers must be capped at 75%. Gyms and fitness studios at 25% capacity. You can find more details on those restrictions right now on our website. Just go to WRTV.com. And coming up in the next half hour, we'll hear from one business owner who's preparing to adjust his operations. And new statewide restrictions, those are also in effect. The restrictions depend on the county where you live. In higher risk red counties, gatherings are limited to just 25 people. In orange counties, which is the next riskiest level, you're limited to 50 people. In Marion County, you cannot have an event with more than 50 people without a safety plan approved by the health department. And a reminder, if you need a mask or other items to help curb the spread of COVID-19, resources are still available. The Carmel Fire Department is hosting several information booths. The latest was held last week. Firefighters gave away bottles of hand sanitizer, disposable face masks, and packets to help educate the public.
There's information in there about how to wear a mask properly, how to make your own mask. Also in there is the executive order from the governor about wearing masks. Also in there is testing sites that are local, that are free, one in Carmel and one in Noblesville.
Well, the department will continue to hold more in the coming weeks, and we'll update you when the next one is announced. Here in Marion County, free face coverings are still available to residents. For more information, click on COVID-19 Community Resources section of Indy.gov's website. Amid the coronavirus pandemic, we're still dealing with another health crisis. This has been ongoing for years now, and that's the opioid pandemic. Our own Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with how one local doctor is trying to combat it. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Lauren. So according to the CDC, the amount of prescription pills being prescribed yearly is going down over the last 12 years. But that does not mean that people are still not getting addicted to those opioids or even overdosing on them. And I spoke to Dr. Brian Badman, who says he and other physicians are going to be the first line of defense in combating this crisis. Dr. Brian Badman is a shoulder surgeon who has started working with his patients to ease the opioid crisis. He says as a physician, he believes he has a responsibility to work with his patients to make sure they don't get addicted to the pain medication he prescribes. So he started treating patients during surgery with Exparol, a fairly new drug that helps with pain management at the site of the surgery. Dr. Badman says on average, they are seeing patients who they treat with Exparol taking 9 less pain pills.
As physicians, we prescribe a lot of opioids, and so now we're seeing patients who have unfortunately become addicted to this. So 9, we know that if a person's on pain pills for longer than 8 days, the chances of being on pain pills after a year, they've got about a 15% incidence of chronic narcotic use after merely 8 days.
We spoke to one of his patients who said he took the pain medicine on the first day post-surgery, but only as a precaution. He says he really just had some discomfort and very little pain.
2 weeks. 4.
So Dr. Badman says he also takes another step with his patients pre and post surgery, reminding them that of course they're going to have some discomfort after surgery, but that doesn't mean they need that pain pill. They should only be taking those pain pills if they are in severe pain. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. This morning, an Indianapolis firefighter who died while on duty will be laid to rest. A procession from Community Hospital to Crown Hill will be held for Matthew Bennett. Bennett drove a fire truck to the scene of a possible building collapse Friday morning. Once he arrived, he told other firefighters he was suffering from chest pains. Bennett was taken to the hospital for immediate surgery. He died Sunday, surrounded by his family. Bennett was a veteran firefighter with 23 years of service. He was assigned to Indianapolis Fire Department Station 1 on West 10th Street. And the Bartholomew County Sheriff's Department is mourning the loss of a canine officer killed while chasing a domestic battery suspect. Canine Diesel was chasing the suspect after a brief pursuit near County Road 600 South at 650 West. Diesel pursued the man into the woods near Interstate 65, and Diesel was later found alongside the interstate. Sheriff's Office is still investigating to determine how the canine was killed. They're asking anyone who is traveling on I-65 near the 62-mile marker around 4 p.m. Saturday afternoon to please call them. And this week marked a big milestone in the construction of a park honoring the 2 Delphi girls who were murdered back in 2017. The new playground is now installed at what will eventually be Abby and Libby Memorial Park. It's the first finished element of this park. When the park opens next spring, it will also have ball fields, an amphitheater, a walking fitness trail, and family members say they want the girls to be remembered for more than the tragic way their lives were taken.
This is something we think is positive that's also going to impact everybody, that, we want want their friends, their classmates, and their relatives to be able to come and have a place where they can remember them alive and happy and playing music and participating in sports. And all of that is right here.
When we come out here tomorrow to work on the picnic structures, we'll drive by and you'll look out there and see that playground done. You know, that's another box that we can put a check mark in.
Well, the park is made possible thanks to a lot of fundraising, grants, and volunteers. The Indiana-based playground company, AAA State of Play, donated much of the playground equipment and labor. 13-year-old Abby Williams and 14-year-old Libby German were killed back in February of 2017 after going for a walk on a trail near the Monon High Bridge. The case is still unsolved. You can submit tips anonymously by calling the Delphi Homicide Tip Line at 844-459-5786. Poll workers in several states are testing positive for COVID-19. Coming up, where infections are being reported and what health workers are saying about the cases. And another historic launch for SpaceX. Straight ahead, we'll have the details on what this means for U.S. space exploration. Todd.
And Lauren, temperatures here throughout the course of this week going to really be up and down. We're starting off in the 30s here this morning. Our highest temperature we have, or the warmest, is going to be 64 degrees, with the coldest temperature going to be at 25 as we get into the middle of the week for one of our morning lows. We'll let you know which day is the warmest, which day is the coolest coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
Welcome back. The time right now is 6:14. This morning, President Trump's campaign is withdrawing a key part of its lawsuit against Pennsylvania's election results. The change comes just one day before it's set to go to court. The campaign is dropping its allegation that more than 682,000 mail-in and absentee ballots were illegally processed. Tomorrow's court hearing will instead focus on claims that Democratic voters were treated more favorably than Republicans, and it will also try to block Pennsylvania from certifying a victory for President-elect Joe Biden. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's scientific advisors will meet with vaccine makers in the coming days as the presidential transition remains stalled. Health experts say the delayed handoff is especially problematic given the U.S. coronavirus cases now past 11 million and the deaths are almost to 250,000. Hospitalizations are also at a record high. Speaking to NBC's Meet the Press, Biden's chief of staff, Ron Klain, urged the White House to begin the transition process. That sentiment was echoed by coronavirus task force member Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Joe Biden's going to become president of the United States in the midst of an ongoing crisis. That has to be a seamless transition.
I've been through multiple transitions now, having served 6 presidents for 36 years. And it's very clear that that transition process that we go through, that time, the period of measured in several weeks to months, is really important in a smooth handing over of the information, as well as it's almost like passing a baton in a race. You don't want to stop and then give it to somebody. You want to just essentially keep going. And that's what transition is. So it certainly would make things more smoothly if we could do that.
Well, right now it is still unclear when the Biden team will be given access to government employees and information. At 6:15, poll workers in several states testing positive for the coronavirus. Officials say more than 24 poll workers who came in contact with voters on Election Day tested positive for COVID-19 in multiple states, including right here in Indiana. As of right now, health experts are unable to tell if these infections are contributing to the current surge in cases. They're hoping that social distancing rules and mask wearing deterred the virus from spreading too much on Election Day. And Sunday was a big day for Elon Musk's SpaceX and for NASA. Musk company sending 4 astronauts into orbit, heading to the International Space Station in the first mission of its kind for a private company. It's the company's first fully operational crewed mission. SpaceX's development of the Crew Dragon capsule under NASA's Commercial Crew program is also a big step for the space agency. It marks the first time NASA has handed over much of the design, development, and testing of new human-rated spacecraft to the private sector. The 4 astronauts on board, 3 are from NASA, 1 is from Japan's space agency. They're set to dock at the ISS late this evening. They had clear weather for takeoff there, Todd, it looks like, and that's always good news.
Yeah, that's what they have to have. Obviously, if there's any threat of weather, they do not do the launch. Yesterday was beautiful in Florida, and so we wish them well. It's going to take them 27 hours from launch yesterday to eventually catch up to the space station and dock later on today. As far as your weather headlines here here we are starting off with chilly but calm conditions this morning. No real issues as you walk out the door this morning. The one thing you're going to notice, though, as the day goes on, once again, the wind is going to pick up across the area, and it's going to be breezy but dry and cold as we head into the evening hours. But overall, temperatures today are going to be pretty seasonable. Now, yesterday, the peak wind gust in Indianapolis happened at 11:40 in the morning, 66 miles per hour. So that's why that wind advisory was in place. The winds have calmed here this morning, and they're only about 10 miles an hour right now. But as we work our way throughout the day today, you're going to notice these wind gusts start to pick up, especially once again as we get into the evening hours. But today's kind of the last hurrah with these real gusty winds across the area. They'll start to subside and calm as we go into the coming days. That is the good news. Clear skies here this morning. Beautiful shot of the city. Temperatures sitting in the 30s anywhere you go. In fact, many locations are at or below freezing. Right at freezing in Bloomington as well as Indy, 31 in Peru, 33 is the current temperature over in the Richmond area, as well as Greencastle. You factor in the wind, and wind chill values this morning are in the 20s. Now, once the sun comes up, you notice it's a slow but steady climb temperature-wise. By the noon hour, we should be at 46 degrees, and we will have sunshine from start to finish throughout the day today. There's really nothing going on across parts of the Midwest, and that's going to allow the high temperatures to be right around 50 degrees in Kokomo, 52 in Frankfort, 50 in Muncie, in around the metro area, about 51, 52 degrees in Indy, 55 in Martinsville. But keep in mind, as that wind picks up, it's going to feel a little bit cooler than these actual temperatures are going to be. And then 56 in Bloomington as well as Seymour. Tomorrow morning, you wake to temperatures that are in the 30s, so it's a little on the cool side. Once again, pretty similar to what we're seeing outside right now. And then going forward in this forecast, tomorrow, despite the sunshine that's out there, it's going to be really chilly throughout the day tomorrow as we only get back up into the 40s. The good news is tomorrow, at least, the winds are going to be a little bit calmer across the area. Now, the coldest temperature that we have in our 7-day planning forecast is right here. It's Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. So Wednesday morning, you wake to temperatures that are only going to be in the mid-20s. Could even in some areas to the north see temperatures getting close to the teens on Wednesday morning. Then we get up to 47 degrees for your high temperature Wednesday afternoon. As I expand this out, look at the big change that happens as we work our way through Thursday and then into next weekend. Here we are now into the mid to end of November by the time we get to the weekend, and we're looking at temperatures that are going to be running about 12 to 15 degrees above normal on Saturday, getting all the way up to 64 degrees with mostly sunny skies. It's a dry week for us as well. Next chance of rain not till late Saturday into the day on a Sunday. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you. Let's take a look right now at traffic as you're heading out on the roads. Here's I-465, a view near Michigan Road up to the north. You can see that traffic here is traveling up to speed. I do have an update for you. We had some construction closing Michigan Road at 116th Street in the overnight hours. That has since reopened, so good news for drivers there as they may be heading to work or school this morning. It is 6:20. Fans are pushing for former Star Trek and Reading Rainbow actor LeVar Burton to become the next host of Jeopardy! This after the show's host Alex Trebek died last week from pancreatic cancer. A petition on change.org has more than 85,000 signatures in support of the move. Burton paid tribute to Trebek on Friday, tweeting his thoughts are with Trebek's family and millions of fans. He also said he was flattered by the petition. Coming on as host would be a bit of a return for Burton. In 1995, he was a contestant on the celebrity edition of Jeopardy and won. Bachelor fans can now experience the famous Malibu mansion for themselves. Since the show hasn't been filming due to the pandemic there, the Bachelor mansion is now up for rent on Airbnb. The 10,000 square foot home has 7 bedrooms, 8.5 baths, a pool, and 2 jacuzzis. There's also 10 acres of property to roam. Guests have to follow certain rules, including no parties, filming professional photography, or gatherings. One night will set you back about $6,000. Also on Airbnb, the infamous Windmill Fantasy Suite in Greece from Hannah Brown's Bachelorette season. That'll cost you $71 a night. Well, it's time for another Good Morning Indiana giveaway. This morning, you have a chance to win a family carload voucher to Christmas Nights of Lights at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. The Nights of Lights features over 1 million lights synchronized to Christmas music through your car stereo as you drive through the Indiana State Fairgrounds. It runs through January 3rd. To win, just be the 6th caller right now at 317-269-1459. If you don't win this half hour, keep trying. We're giving away more tickets in the next half hour. The time right now is 6:22. We'll be right back. The time right now is 6:24 on our Monday. It is time to talk about what is trending at 6. So here's an expensive gift idea. You can now get a private aviation membership through Costco. The bulk retailer is selling a year-long membership to Wheels Up Core Private Aviation for $17,500. Membership gives you access to about 1,500 aircraft that you can book on the Wheels Up app. It also comes with a $4,000 flight credit and $3,500 Costco shop card. Wow. Well, a father-daughter duo finished a 2,000-mile bike ride over the weekend. The pair started their journey back in October up in Michigan, and they pedaled their antique high-wheel bicycles to Key West's southmost point marker. The two say they undertook the journey for just the adventure of it and hope they've inspired others to seek enjoyable moments through these challenges. Look at those bikes. I bet that was challenging. Well, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas in New York. A 75-foot Norway spruce arriving at Rockefeller Center over the weekend. The tree will be decorated with more than 5 miles of lights, but this year's lighting ceremony will not have any in-person spectators due to the pandemic. Instead, it will just be televised. Oh man, Todd, we're getting into the Christmas season. Have you seen that tree in person, I assume?
I've seen, many times. And one time I went to see it get lit.
Okay.
And it is the longest time standing in the cold I've ever been in my life. So I just went once,
we can all watch
checked it off the bucket list, and now I just watch it on TV and enjoy the music. I'm all right outside right now. Speaking of temperatures, it's chilly out there as you get going on this new work week. Monday morning, 32 in Indy as well as Logansport, and Bloomington 33 in Kokomo. Radar is nice and quiet. That is the good news. Muncie's at 36 degrees. So today, it's actually a pretty seasonable day for us. We get up to 52 degrees. The thing is, the wind will start to pick up throughout the course of the day, and so that's going to make that 52 feel a little bit cooler. But here's the deal. The wind is not going to be as strong or as gusty as it was yesterday. You will notice it if you're going to be out and about this afternoon, as it will be breezy, but it's not going to be strong enough, Lauren, to cause the issues with power outages and some trees coming down like we saw during the day yesterday.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, how would you like to earn money to test out the COVID vaccine? Sounds great, right? But is it true? Consumer reporter John Matarese looks into one offer so you don't waste your money.
More than 30,000 Americans are now participating in a COVID vaccine trial, and many of them are earning hundreds of dollars for their efforts. But one offer to participate is raising a lot of questions. Nancy Brashear opened her mail to find this, an offer to earn money if she joined a COVID-19 vaccine test.
I got a letter from Accurian Health looking for volunteers for COVID-19 vaccine studies, promising up to $1,200 if you participate.
It looked promising, but then Nancy got suspicious. Nancy started to wonder how they knew that she'd be a good candidate for a vaccine trial. Did someone with a hospital, doctor's office, or pharmacy actually sell her health information?
How do they get your information? That really bothers me.
We called and emailed Accurian Health to find out how they got her name, but did not hear back. Accurian is a legitimate company and states it's a data firm that connects people with medical trials. It does not do the testing. Were you concerned they knew your medical history?
Yes. Where did they get this information? HIPAA laws make your history private.
A report in Gizmodo, how a company you've never heard of sends you letters about your medical condition, quotes Accurian saying it purchases public information and lifestyle data to find candidates. And Nancy found that if you decide to apply, you will then have to give much more medical information.
If you go on the website, you have to go through steps to do that. So they're looking.
And even though she could make some money, she says thanks, but no thanks. Interested in a trial? The National Institutes for Health, the NIH, has a government website that lists all the trials going on now. Now we don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Now on Good Morning Indiana, it's Monday morning. Let's take a look at your 6:30 news feed. A woman is dead after she was thrown from a car and killed in a crash on I-70 near Plainfield. State police say the woman was a passenger in a car that crashed into the back of a semi-truck that was stopped on the shoulder of eastbound I-70, just east of the Plainfield exit early Sunday morning. The woman died at the scene, and police believe that rain contributed to this crash. An investigation continues after Metro police officers shot a man outside of a West Side bar over the weekend. Officers were working off-duty security Saturday night when they say that a man started pointing a gun at a crowd at West 34th and North High School Road. Police say they shot the man after he refused orders to drop the gun. The man is in the hospital and is expected to survive. Butler University changing its plans for fans at its home basketball games because of the coronavirus pandemic. The university will limit fans to 25% capacity at Hinkle Fieldhouse. Face coverings, temperature checks, and using specific entrances and exits will also be required. No season tickets will be offered, but those who are season ticket holders or who have already paid a deposit will get a first chance to buy tickets in blocks of 2 to 4 games each. The Indiana Hoosiers continue to move up in the college football rankings. IU is number 9 in this week's AP poll after Saturday's 24-0 shutout of Michigan State. The only time the Hoosiers have been ranked higher was during their last Rose Bowl season of 1967. IU has an East Division showdown on the road against number 3 Ohio State coming up this Saturday. At 6:30, though, we're going to welcome you into Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey. Rafael Sanchez has the Monday off, but Todd Clausen is standing by with a check of our forecast. And Todd, we had some strong winds moving through over the weekend. What did they leave behind?
Yeah, they caused lots of damage. 66 miles per hour. That was the peak wind gust in Indianapolis yesterday. So that was just under hurricane status strength as far as wind speeds go. Obviously, with a hurricane, you need sustained winds, but still caused some damage with trees down, and there were power outages yesterday. Today, the wind and not as much of an issue. You'll notice it, though, here, not so much this morning, but as we get into the afternoon hours. The good news is today's a sunny day for us with the sunglasses needed throughout the entire day today. You need a warm jacket this morning, and some of you may even want the hat and gloves because look at these temperatures. At freezing in Indy as well as Bloomington, 31 is the current temperature. In Peru, you factor in the wind, and it feels like it's in the 20s in some locations here across the area. Satellite radar picture nice and quiet, and really going forward throughout the week, there's no real weather makers heading our way. So all we really need to focus on is the temperatures, and those will be up and down as the week goes on. But today is a pretty seasonable day for us, starting off where we just mentioned in the 30s. By the noon hour, the temperature's at 46 degrees, with high temperatures today topping off in the low 50s across the area. Again, that is seasonable. We'll talk about the temperature trend heading our way for the rest of the week, Lauren, coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thanks. Let's get a look at traffic right now. As you're heading out on the roads, this is I-65 near West Street and MLK. You can see traffic there really picking up, especially southbound lanes heading into the downtown area. Thankfully, everything's still traveling up to speed. No delays right now to slow down your commute. At 6:32, President-elect Joe Biden's scientific team scheduled to meet with companies working on coronavirus vaccine this week. Biden's transition team continues to battle the lack of cooperation from the White House as COVID-19 cases and deaths spike across the country. Biden's incoming chief of staff calling for federal transition money to be released, while one of the nation's top doctors says cooperation is vital as the pandemic gets worse.
Joe Biden's going to become president of the United States in the midst of an ongoing crisis. That has to be a seamless transition.
I've been through multiple transitions now, having served 6 presidents for 36 years. And it's very clear that that transition process that we go through, that time, the period of measured in several weeks to months, is really important in a smooth handing over of the information, as well as it's almost like passing a baton in a race. You don't want to stop and then give it to somebody. You want to just essentially keep going. And that's what transition is. So it certainly would make things more smoothly if we could do that.
The national 7-day average for new COVID-19 cases is standing at more than 150,000. That's an increase of 81% from just 2 weeks ago. And several states are imposing new COVID-19 restrictions starting today. We can tell you the governor of Michigan issuing an emergency order canceling in-person classes for high schools and colleges for the next 3 weeks. Michigan is also temporarily banning indoor dining, group classes at gyms, and also shutting down casinos and movie theaters. New Jersey and Washington State are among the other states with new restrictions, and officials are also pushing back on complaints about mask mandates.
What is your message to the people who apparently are tired of wearing the mask over their nose as well as their mouth? They think it's uncomfortable and annoying, and it's just too much for them to handle, so they're just not doing it. Thank you.
Thank you. You know what's really uncomfortable and annoying? When you die.
Well, after falling for much of the summer, COVID-19 deaths are on the rise again nationally. Johns Hopkins University dashboard says more than 246,000 deaths have now been reported nationwide. Over the weekend, Indiana surpassing 250,000 total COVID-19 cases since March. The state health department reporting 6,844 new cases of the virus Sunday. That's about 2,000 less than the new record set Saturday with more than 8,000. 22 more Hoosiers have also died with the virus. That brings the total number of deaths with COVID-19 in the state to 4,660. The positive test rate also continues to climb. The 7-day average now standing at almost 22%. That's for unique individuals. Some COVID-19 restrictions also back in Marion County starting today. Next, we'll take a look at the changes you'll have to navigate. It's a problem that's been lost in the shuffle during the coronavirus pandemic. Coming up, a live report on how opioids are still very much a problem across the state of Indiana. It's 6:35. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It is 6:38 on your Monday. New COVID-19 restrictions aiming to stop the spread are in place right now in Marion County, and that's as of today. Here's a look at some of the changes you can expect. Bars and entertainment venues are capped at 25% indoor capacity, restaurants at 50%, large gatherings are limited to 25% capacity, and religious events at 75%. Gyms and fitness studios capped at 25% capacity. You can find more details on the restrictions right now by visiting our website, WRTV.com. New statewide restrictions took effect on Sunday. Governor Holcomb's new limits on social gatherings depend on the county where you live. In higher risk red counties on this map, gatherings are limited to just 25 people. In the orange counties, which is the next riskiest level, you're limited to 50 people. In Marion County, you cannot have an event with more than 50 people without a safety plan approved by the health department. And the changes mean major adjustments again for businesses across central Indiana. Moonshot Games, located on Mass Ave, is among those having to reduce capacity to 25%. A big part of the downtown location is event space. Jason Manship says that they are working hard to install plexiglass shields, reducing event sizes, and recently their sales have been going back up. But now his staff is stressed out learning about the new restrictions. His main concern is the mental health aspect because he says people rely on Moonshot Games as a gathering place.
We believe that, we want to see our business survive, and we want to see people that support us and that play the games that we work hard to foster. We get told all the time, this is the only place I go, right? This is the only place I get out to go because, COVID's locking us down, and, we need an escape. And we feel strongly that we are that for a lot of people. But, this is what it is. And at the end of the day, I don't blame anyone else. I think it's just a matter of doing our small part to help make everyone better.
Manship hopes that people will support local businesses like his on Black Friday this year and for the rest of the holiday season. He says the new restrictions, they plan to shift their focus once again to retail, and they're planning a big blowout deal for Black Friday. So hopefully you can support them. As the COVID-19 pandemic continues, Indiana and the rest of the country are still dealing with another problem. It's also led to thousands of overdose deaths. Our own Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with how one local doctor is fighting the problem of opioid addiction. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Lauren. So according to the CDC, the number of opioids being prescribed yearly has been going down over the last 12 years. But that does not mean that Americans aren't still becoming addicted to those opioid medications, and some even overdosing. And that's why Dr. Brian Badman says he and other physicians are the first line of defense in combating this crisis.
My bicep, I had surgery on here, and then my labrum he also replaced, which is here on the backside more.
Zach Martin had shoulder surgery about 4 weeks ago.
Motion's good.
Feeling amazing, honestly.
Pain's better.
Yeah. Pain's never been there.
He tells me he visited Dr. Brian Badman after having constant discomfort in his arm. And to his surprise, there wasn't much pain post-surgery.
My recovery has been awesome ever since. I've never had any real pain.
Saying he only needed to take pain medication for 1 day, and even then, it was just as a precaution.
I would never say there was any real pain to this.
Dr. Badman tells me that's because of a fairly new drug he uses during surgery called Exparol.
We showed that at 3 days, patients with Exparol block took on average about 9 less pain pills, which if you hear 9 less pain pills, you don't think that's a lot.
But Badman says it takes just 8 days for someone to become addicted to opioids. So 9 pills is significant to about 3 days without the drug.
I think it's huge. I mean, it's something we as clinicians, we need to do our part, because I think we partly contributed to some of the crisis that we're currently experiencing, and so we as physicians need to do something to lessen that burden.
As for Martin, he says he's glad his surgeon is working to ease the opioid crisis.
I think it's awesome. I mean, I think it's great to definitely help for the overuse, people getting addicted to these drugs. With the medicine they used for me during the surgery, I mean, this is a good way to combat that and start knocking out the drug use.
Dr. Badman tells me another step he takes is talking openly with his patients, letting them know that what pain they're going to feel, letting them know if they feel discomfort, they don't need that pain medication, and if it's any more than that discomfort, then they can use that pain medication. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. The time right now is 6:42. Being deployed, we know, is tough on both service members and their families. Next, how a man who has been there is trying to make sure that heroes and their loved ones are not forgotten. And you aren't the only ones putting up holiday decorations early this year. Coming up, we'll have a chance for you to win tickets to a sparkling Christmas lights display at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Todd.
And Lauren, obviously the big issue yesterday in the forecast was the gusty winds. They've calmed here overnight now into our Monday morning, but as the day progresses, these winds will kick back up again. They're not going to be as strong as they were yesterday, but still enough to cause some minor issues here across the area, as some gusts could be up to 30 miles per hour. We'll talk about the wind and also the temperature trend throughout this entire week, which is up and down as well. Coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues.
It is 6:45. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. He's a military veteran himself, and now he's working to make sure that other vets get the help they need while they're deployed, especially if they're injured during their service. Our own Troy Washington spoke to the man behind the Hometown Hero Project.
I think it's giving back to those who give so much.
Scott Willis wants to make sure hometown heroes aren't forgotten.
I proposed a program called the Hometown Hero Program.
Willis is a veteran who remembers being deployed while his wife was expecting after the two just bought a home.
Puts a lot of burden on the family members who are left behind when that happens.
The responsibility of shoveling snow and keeping up the lawn fell on his wife, who already had her hands full. To make sure the next person standing in his shoes won't have to worry, he's got a plan.
It's interesting, the state of Indiana has one of the largest National Guards per capita in the country. We're a very veteran-friendly state. But we have fallen woefully short in the programs that we provide for veterans. Up until about 3 years ago, Indiana was ranked 50 out of 51 states. They were including Puerto Rico in that, for benefits and services for veterans. Under Governor Holcomb, we've actually seen that climb. We're getting better, but we're still 45th out of 51 states. I think we have a long way to go to take care, again, of those who put their lives on the line for us. And I think this is just a small token that we can add to that to help close that gap.
As a vice president of the Westfield City Council, he was inspired to bring the idea to his city.
I was sitting in on a city council meeting in Fishers, Indiana. And the mayor of Fishers, Scott Fadness, actually instituted this program in Fishers, and they've been doing this now since 2015.
The proposal applies to veterans who live in Westfield and local public safety personnel who are hurt or deployed.
These are the people that put themselves out on the front lines on a daily basis.
If passed, the upkeep would be made possible through partnerships in the community. Working for you in Westfield, Troy Washington, WRTV.
Troy, thank you. And the proposal will be on the agenda for the upcoming meeting. Council members are expected to vote soon, and of course, we'll keep you updated on the latest developments. Well, it's a fresh start for a former Marsh location. The sign on the window at the former Marsh store along Kentucky Avenue indicates there are plans to bring a Charlie Brown's restaurant into the building. Charlie Brown's currently has a location in Speedway. We're working to get more information on this story, and of course, we'll keep you updated. At 6:48 in the morning, it's Monday, and Todd, what can we expect in today's forecast? Looks like a beautiful sunrise.
Right, take a look at this, Lauren. I know a lot of people complaining, oh, it gets dark so early in the evening hours. Well, one of the benefits is the sun comes up earlier in the morning here, and that's giving us these beautiful sunrises. This is from IMS looking back east towards downtown. Not a cloud in the sky this morning, but it is chilly. There's no doubt about that. 32 degrees in Indy right now, but it feels like it's 24. So the wind, as it's calmed since yesterday, is still out there a little bit at 10 miles per hour, and it's enough to factor in that wind chill that takes about 8 degrees off of the temperature from what it actually is to what it really feels like. And we're in the 30s anywhere you go, including below freezing temperatures right now in Greencastle as well as Peru. It's 32 in Bloomington as well as Tipton and Richmond. And when you factor in the wind in some other locations outside of Indy, look at Peru. It feels like 21 right now. So a very, very cold morning out there for many of us. 26 in Bloomington, 25 in Columbus. So you'll definitely need to have the hat and gloves as you get going here across the area. The good news is the skies are clear, and now the sun is coming up with all the sunshine out there. We will be able to moderate those temperatures fairly quickly here throughout the course of the morning hours. The snow you see near Minneapolis, that is going to bypass us to the north. So throughout the day today, temperatures will climb to about 40 degrees at 10 a.m. By the time you get to the noon hour, we're looking at a temperature of 45, and then throughout the afternoon hours, temperatures will be topping off right around 51 to 52 degrees with all the sunshine that is out there. It's a seasonable day for us. The one thing you will notice as the day goes on, the wind will start to pick up a little bit. It's not going to be as strong as yesterday. In fact, you can kind of cut the wind gusts from yesterday in half, where we were up in the 60 to 65 mile per hour range. This evening, temperatures will be in the 50s, but with the wind gusting up to 30 miles per hour, it's going to feel a little bit cooler than that. This evening, we're in the 40s. Sunset this evening is at 5:28. Tomorrow morning, temperatures very similar to what we have out there currently. The difference is tomorrow the winds are going to be more out of the north, and that's going to keep the temperatures from warming a whole lot throughout the day tomorrow. In fact, we're going to be about 10 degrees colder tomorrow, despite the fact that we still have a lot of sunshine out there for your Tuesday. And then as we get into Wednesday morning, temperatures are going to be in the 20s. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked Wednesday morning if some locations see their temperatures all the way down into the upper teens in northern locations. But here's the good news. Despite the cold start on Wednesday, we get up to 47 degrees, which is still below normal. But once we get past Wednesday, temperatures on Thursday will get up into the low 60s, and then we stay in the 60s all the way through the weekend. And so that's going to take our temperatures anywhere from about 10 to 15 degrees above normal for Friday, Saturday, and even into Sunday. Late Saturday into Sunday, though, we do bring the chance of some rain showers back into the forecast. But overall, pretty dry this week. Just a couple chilly days there Tuesday and Wednesday, Lauren, that we have to get through first.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out the door this morning. This is I-65 near West Street and MLK. We did have a little bit of a slowdown in the southbound lanes for just a moment, but it looks like everything is back moving up to speed as you're heading in and out of the downtown area. You shouldn't have any problems. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated. So how would you like to get out of the house and go see some Christmas lights? Sounds pretty good, right? So right now you have a chance to win a family carload voucher for Christmas Nights of Lights at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. The Night of Lights features over 1 million lights synchronized to Christmas music that you'll play through your car stereo as you drive through the Indiana State Fairgrounds. This runs through January 3rd. To win, be the 6th caller right now at 317-269-1459. Good luck. The time right now is 6:52. We're back with your top stories and one final check of your forecast just after the break. Welcome back. It is 6:55 here on Good Morning Indiana. We'll get a check of our chilly forecast with Todd in just a minute, but first a look at our top stories. E-learning begins today for students in Wayne Township schools, while students in Washington Township will start learning from home tomorrow. It's part of a shift coming to every school in Marion County over the next 2 weeks because of a spike in COVID-19 cases. We have a list of all those changes on our website, WRTV.com. An Indianapolis firefighter who died while on duty will be laid to rest today. A procession from Community Hospital to Crown Hill Cemetery will be held for Matthew Bennett. Bennett drove a fire truck to the scene of a possible building collapse Friday morning. Once he arrived, he told other firefighters he was suffering from chest pains. Bennett was taken to the hospital for immediate surgery. However, he later died. Bennett was a 23-year veteran of the fire department. It's a milestone for a park in Delphi dedicated to 2 girls who were murdered back in 2017. A new playground is now installed at what will eventually be Abby and Libby Memorial Park. It's the first element of the park that's been completed. When the park opens next spring, it will also have ball fields, an amphitheater, a walking fitness trail, and more. The playground company AAA State of Play donated much of the playground equipment and labor. And a reminder, 13-year-old Abby Williams and 14-year-old Libby German were killed February 2017 after going for a walk on a trail near the Monon High Bridge. This case remains unsolved. You can submit a tip anonymously by calling the Delphi Homicide Tip Line. That number is 844-459-5786. Let's get a check of that final weather with Todd right now. Todd, what can we expect for our Monday?
You know, it's a quiet day of weather for us, Lauren, and look at the sunrise, off to a beautiful start with the clear skies. It's chilly, though. You definitely need to bundle up as we are sitting into the 30s in all locations. In fact, below freezing right now in Indy at 31, and some wind chills are in the 20s. The wind will pick up a little bit today, but again, it's sunny. It's chilly Tuesday and Wednesday with highs only in the 40s. Especially Wednesday morning will be in the 20s, but then warmer weather by the end of the week as we get back up into the 60s.
All right, Todd, and here's a look at the sun coming up all over central Indiana. Beautiful sunrise here for your Monday. We'll be back with more news in 25 minutes throughout Good Morning America. Have a great day.